Hey guys, I'm just going to review the directions for the digital roll a story activity. All right, this sounds like a really fun activity y'all get to do, and it's a little different too. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to need a die. If you don't have one at your house, you can use the digital one that Miss Campbell put a link to, okay? So this is roll a story. So you're going to take your die and you're going to roll it 3 times, okay? So the first time you roll it, depending on what you roll, say you roll a 3, then your main character in the story is going to be a genie. So you're going to have to take your purple circle and you're going to drag it over to put it over the genie. All right, and then the second time you roll the dice, it's going to choose what setting your story's going to be in. And remember, your setting is where the story takes place. All right, and then the third time you roll the dice, you're going to find out what your problem is. Okay, so you're going to roll it, and depending on what you roll, say you roll a 1, then your problem is you got eaten by a snake. Okay, all right, so those 3 story elements is what you're going to include in the story that you write. Okay, the next slide. And something I want to point out here too is that you're going to have 2 options of how you're going to write your story. Okay, first I'm going to show you the option 1. This is on the 3rd slide. Okay, so option 1, you have to highlight the text box that says type your name here. Okay, and you are going to type your name in this text box. Then you're going to highlight the type title here to type the title of your story. You're going to fill in the colored sections, and you are going to put main character. You're going to type it here, setting, type here, and problem, and type here. Okay? Then what you're going to do is you're going to write your story in this box over here to the right. Okay? After you finish that, you get to add an image. And this, oh, I'm sorry, guys. And this is where you have a few different options of how you can add your images or add your illustrations. Okay? First is A, you can copy and paste the corresponding emojis from slide 4. Okay, so on slide 4, the next slide, you can copy and paste some of these emojis to put in the illustration box here. Okay? You can resize and position those emojis to create actually like a scene that you would see in a story. You can delete the text box that says add image here, and it says to click here for an illustration, and there you go. So there's an option that she gives you for being able to do that. So they actually resized and moved some of those around. So the person has their name, they have the title, they have the 3 different story elements that they rolled, they wrote their story, and then they inserted their picture. Okay, and Miss Campbell wants you to write your story first, and she wants you to write it, and then you can go back and do kind of some cool additions like changing the color or some of the fonts, but she really wants you to focus, put your main energy on writing your story, okay? All right, let me get back to where we were. There we go. All right, so, or B, you can go to Insert, Image, Search, the web, so you can put a picture from the internet on there. Or you can design an illustration in Google Drawings, and you can save it as a PNG and then insert it as an image. Or D, you can use the tools in Google Slides to create an illustration in the box. Or you can actually just draw an illustration, just yourself drawing it by hand, and take a selfie to insert it into the box. So to take a selfie, you have to go to Image, Insert, and Camera. Okay, so those are your different options, whichever one you want to do. Now, that's your first option. On the last slide, it is option number 2. Okay, so what you have to do in option number 2, some of the same things that you do on option number 1. You have to type your name here, You have to put your title here, and then you're going to type your story here, okay? And Ms. Campbell, once again, wants you to type your story first before experimenting with different fonts and font sizes. The only difference on option 1 and option 2 is you don't have to put your illustration, okay? If you just want to focus on your story and doing your story, that's fine, okay? So those are your 2 options, and I hope you'll have fun with this activity because it looks like it is a lot of fun. All right, guys.